Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 is the wisdom of the elders on African beauty for males and females to heed. Would the wider society appreciate her words? This came with a link. Let's see what the link takes us, and then we'll discuss it.
Brazilian butt lifts are a trend. Um, Again, we need to be mindful of why we want to do something. Trends, I kind of think trends are sometimes dangerous because they encourage you to do things that may not serve you 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line. So I encourage everyone, whenever they're considering a trend, even tattoos are trends, right? 20 years ago, tattoos were present, but they were not trendy. Now, every other person has a tattoo. But how will your tattoo look in 20 years? A Brazilian butt lift is something that signifies womanhood and youthful womanhood. So everything is perky, right? But we know that after a certain number of years, our bodies begin to be affected by gravity, our lines, our faces, our all of our bodies. And so here you will be with all of your body going that way, and you have a derriere that is perky. It is no longer relevant to who you are. So, in looking at any kind of trend that changes your body, think about whether it's reversible. Can you reverse it? Can you, minimize it? Is it adjustable? Right? And as far as I'm aware, Brazilian butt lifts are a permanent procedure that usually only gets redone if there is a fail or a problem. So I just recommend that women just stop and take stock of themselves and work on your inside, work on your emotional state, your mental state, and learning to love and appreciate yourself. I don't say no, don't do a Brazilian butt lift, because there is obviously a reason why the procedure was created. There are women that are not as ample as they would like to be, and I understand where, in Jamaica we have a term, wanty, can't get it. I get it, no want it. It's kind of one of those cases. Yeah. But the true thing that we need to be focusing on as women is to love ourselves as we are. Our skin, the texture of our hair, the thickness of our lips, the fullness or skinniness of our bodies. Yeah, because they're all beautiful. The beautiful thing about Jamaica is that Jamaican men will tell you that, yeah, man, we just love all women, all colors, sizes, shapes, right? And so this is how we want to encourage our men to also appreciate women, the diversity of beauty, the diversity of beauty, color, texture, size, and the beauty of the mind that resides within that body. That's what we need to be looking at. We've moved away from that. And so, men, I'm also putting some of this on you. When you start to love women's minds and love women's the personality and the soul of the woman, then you're going to find that more women will see the need to go change their external because you are pursuing the external. A lot of the problems that we're having in society today are as a result of people just looking at the physical, right? I'm hearing little video clips of people talking about baby mama problems. And if they'd have known that she was like this, they would have never had a kid with her. But what were they looking at? They were looking at the juicy, the sexy, the curvy, and that's all. So they were coming from the base, the base, what I, the base desires. What did you see? Was it the large, voluptuous breasts, the big booty, her beautiful, perfect face, her long flowing fake hair? Or did you see the beautiful spirit that lay in that woman? Because if you did that, then women would cultivate their spirit and they would cultivate their minds. And men would be looking for women that have taken the time to cultivate their minds and their spirits. And then we would have a lot more harmony. But people are not going for harmony, they're going for big booty, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking to you both. Work on the stuff on the inside. Work on your personality, work on your flaws, work on your insecurities, work on your fears so that you now become a confident, bold person that lives authentically, and you will attract another authentic person who is living truth. Yeah? This is how we need to do it.
Well, let me hear you say mountain,
Yeah, that's a bunch of babble. It sounds good, but to me, well, what's her name? Paula Herlock. She lost me a little bit, but she won't she won't really condemn the surgery stuff. I mean, if you have a medical emergency, surgery is fine. But if it is the case that you just wasn't born with enough ass or whatever, all the other stuff she's talking about supposed to apply. You're supposed to love yourself, find the beauty within you, etc., etc., etc. But then she still gives you the out with the surgery. I don't like that kind of messaging. Azuli is going wild out there in the chat. Uh, but yeah, that's my initial take on that. Let me just check out some comments from the chat before I go to the panel. Yana B says that she loves this lady. She's cool. Okay. After said, also examine the long-term effects. All people tend to be short-sighted. Planning for generations is a difficult skill. Oh, that's from the previous thing. He said, After said, women need to just go to the gym, point blank, period, and stop eating so much crap. Diet and exercise for both sexes. He says, I met a woman who needed a breast reduction. That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate situation. She'd had one and her breasts continued to grow. She was approaching her 40s and considering another one. The Zuliism, for some reason, says this woman is talking like gas. KW Don 7 is here. Shout out to KW Don 7. He said, BBLs, what happened to squats and working out? Shaking my damn head. The Zuliism says, nah, she's wilding. She's not saying nothing about women chasing wallets. Arthur tends to agree. He says she ain't saying nothing. And Zuliism says, I want to see her body. Stand up. The boy, Zuliism is something else. But Tanzan in the chat said men should stop expecting women to go to the gym and expect them to pick up a book instead. Woo. Brother Bakari says, what's up to everyone? Zuli said, drop the link. So I'll drop the link in a second. Afrozer says men should stop expecting women to go to the gym. What? Trigger Happy 262 says, here is my take on this. Beauty standards to me have always had different ways of mimicking natural characteristics. It's just now we have dangerous means of obtaining that, via surgery. Yana B says, At the end of the day, she's saying, get your body done because we're women, never satisfied. She knows that. All right. That's a lot was said there. Let me drop that link for Azuli. Azuli, you know, you could take your lazy ass and scroll up and find the link, but okay. I'll drop what I'm doing, sir, and I'll put the link out there for you. Tanzan, you had some things to say in the chat. What say you?
Well, I was just summarizing what the lady was saying. She was kind of trying to have it both ways, but she's basically saying that, oh, women, just love yourself and everything will, come into place. And that whole inner beauty stuff, which is wonderful and great. I'm not against inner beauty and reading a book once in a while. But, realistically, nobody's going to see you and, pierce out your inner beauty. So, it's not really realistic to go too much into the inner workings of the human being. But on the other hand, with BBL, if she's okay with it, she should just say. And some of that looks so real and natural. I don't think that men will be asking, how did you get what you got, as long as it looks good. So she should just come out and say, look, it's okay to go, chop up your body and let the surgeons have at it if that's what you want, and for the people who are talking about going to the gym and things like that, not everybody has the time to do that. Not everybody has time to go work out and so on. If you had a choice between doing something 5 times a week versus just going in and doing it once and getting it done, what would you choose? Yeah. All right, that's it for me. And I hope her hair is really that color and not dyed. But I think she looks okay. But she should just say, look, if you don't have it, it's okay to get it, and nobody is going to know the difference anyway. But this whole inner beauty stuff, I'm a bit skeptical about it.
Last week, Tan was in the chat. Buano wasn't here with us, but last week I was talking about, we had a beauty standards conversation last week as well. And the thing I pointed out was that, all that exterior stuff is fine. But really, if the interior is not any good, it's not worth anything at the end of the day. And I think that's the thing she should have been pushing more. Is like, listen, your exterior is what it is. You can work on it however you choose to work on it, but make sure you're on point within. And I think that's the thing. When we talk about beauty standards, we have to talk about the beauty within as well, right? With that said, let's welcome in Azuli this week. Azuli, what?
Oh no.
Yo, hello.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? But that lady, she probably just turned natural about 2 months ago. I want to see how she looked when she was in her 20s. She probably had the weave, all of that thing she's talking about. But number one, she's talking about what I didn't like about her is like she's only coming at the men. Men this, men that, men this, men that. So she didn't even go. I thought she was gonna go by both superficialness that women are chasing men that look a certain way and making. No, she want to attack the men, make the men feel guilty about choosing what women we are attracted to. Granted, a lot of us, we were programmed as we were young to prefer certain type of women over the other. But we never told women to go get plastic surgery, at least not most of us. I'm not with the plastic surgery. I'm with work with what you got. If you're slim, work with it. Let me get you pregnant and give you some hips. But that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, she's talking about beauty.
Zuli, aka the Haitian BBL. But go ahead, brother.
What I'm saying is, just like Gas had said weeks ago, and Goku, without the proper inside, all that physical don't matter. So she's talking about, go get that BBL. No, go to the gym or go work a couple of miles, stop eating certain stuff. Or if you don't want to do that, let me have another woman. You don't want to work out hard? You don't want to keep your body a certain way that I like? Let me have another young thing. We could solve that easy. So what she's talking about, she's again is always attacking the men, just like Gas said. They didn't care about the boy circumcision. It's only about theirs. Now all of a sudden she's acting like she's talking about look for the inner. She didn't tell the women nothing about go after a moral man, a man who's about standards, about morals. So that's how I feel about that.
About character, like Atroja in the chat said too, which is important. Yana B said if you have plenty of sex, there's no need for the gym. So I wonder if Yana B is quite fit or not out there. Let's go to Gas him up. Gas, what say you to all this?
Yeah, man, that lady sounded. You know what's funny? You took the words. I was thinking the same. I was hearing it because I was walking, and I was like, "This lady sounds like babble, man. It's the typical, fake, deep shea butter onk wearing women. They ain't deep for nothing, man. They're just a bunch of. They're all the same. It's just empty souls looking to crush you, and I always say a lot of these women think a man is a big piece of chicken, an ATM and a Volvo engine. And if he behaves himself well, girl, you give him some on holidays. And look, who cares if these women are doing BBLs, right? That's their problem. You want to destroy your body, who cares, right? But to turn around and say, well, if the men demand, this is the same argument. If the black man builds, the women will come. That's bullshit. Excuse me for cursing on your show. And the reason why I say that is because, like I've told everyone about that argument, if the men build, first off, because I'm refining the argument as the days go by, because people are just proving me more and more correct. If that was the case, black educators would be successful in the school system or the public school system. Black educators can't get these kids on track because they're used to dysfunction. You got the guy the rapper who just died, rest in peace to him. They got casinos where you can legally gamble without any hesitation and you're safe and fine. No, you got to go to the hood.
The hood spot.
The hood spot. You know why? Because they're so used to dysfunction. I've seen it. If you create something where people have to behave themselves, and the people are immersed in dysfunction, they will avoid it like the plague because they will not be able to carry out their dysfunction. That's whining stuff. Like that's sympathy that I don't have. Oh, well, if I build it, they're not going to come. If that's the case, like I said, black educators would be more successful. So to bring it back to her topic, black men can sit there. You know how many men say, oh, baby, I love you just the way you are, and she'll still get the BBL? These women don't listen to the men. They don't care what the men think. Women don't even, men can compliment women all day. Your compliment means nothing. But if she hears it from another woman, a genuine compliment, then she knows she looks good in it. Because women automatically discount whatever you tell her because she knows you just want to sleep with me 9 out of 10 times. So when she says, the inner beauty, she's right. But initially, the only thing that gets us to the dance is the physical beauty. And that is why I'd laugh when you say, I knew I loved him. You don't know nothing about him. He could have been a serial killer. He could have been a psycho. But allegedly, according to women's intuition, they know. So where's the women's intuition when she's getting the BBL? And 40 years down the line, when her skin is sagging, but her butt is still up. Where's her women's intuition then? It's just, we live in a world of coddled women, manipulated men, and the men who speak out are labeled misogynist and angry and bitter. And the women, for some reason, they're like ostriches. They just bury their head in the sand. They will not call out other women on the nonsense. So she's so programmed that she can't even just have a conversation just being critical of women and leaving it at that. If you guys notice this, whenever there's a conversation where it's time to be critical of women, if a woman can't just leave it at the point of being critical of women and go along without having to include men, there's something wrong with that woman, and be careful of those type of women. They're very disingenuous and they're very dangerous in my experience. Those type of women are very disingenuous and very dangerous, and they will play you. They learn men very well. They learn how to come up. Oh, okay, men like to hear this. They like to hear this, and they will play along like they are down to get along, but they are no different. You're probably better off getting a Cardi B than this type of woman here, in my opinion. And I'll stop there.
Yeah, I can't really argue what you said there at all. Um, Arthur in the chat said, as a black educator in a black school in a city where that rapper got shot, I was talking to my students about culture and values. One stopped me and said, "What do you mean? We have no values." He said the kid was being slightly sarcastic, but it's something, that's I'm glad we never really discussed that topic, because I'm kind of tired of discussing those topics. But we need to step our game up in so many different social areas, But beauty standards. Let's get back to this conversation. The wisdom of the elders on African beauty for males and females to heed. Would the wider society appreciate her words? Let's hear from Bwana Hagaziki.
Again, I have to bring contrast to the conversation with the brothers, because I have a different view, and based off of my experiences, because one size does not fit all. For me, I am attracted to the intellectual woman, and the reason why is because I've met enough beautiful dumb women in my life to know that they don't benefit me. I'm not attracted to that. I have not never met Tanzan in my life. I've never met Barbados. I've never met Matron. What attracts me to them, who gives me a degree of attraction for them, is their capacity to be very analytical about. No, I'm being honest.
Get him, Razuli. Get him. Get them. Get him, Razuli.
No, listen. No, listen.
Shut up,
I
Azuli.
am
Let him speak.
I am attracted to the fact that these women, these
Check
sisters are
Tanzan's wait, hold on. He's talking about being attracted to me. Let him speak. Go ahead, Bwana. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, they have intellectual capacity, and I find it to be fascinating and beautiful. So I want to find out more. It's not to say that I would not want to get into degenerate activities with all of them, but I'm just saying that these sisters have a lot of political girth to the things that they say, the things that they believe in, and the ideas that they present to the table,
Yeah,
and
though.
they could argue objectively. They could argue objectively with any man. That's an attraction and a fascination for me, and that goes beyond beauty, because I've never seen none of these sisters before. So like I say, I don't feel like one size fits all. I think that there is some substance to what she had to say, because she said that when women are young, they make permanent decisions that looks crazy when they get older, because there are things that you move on. There are decisions. When I was young, I was into some rasta business, so I get lion tattoos business, on one arm. Then I get another lion, another arm, red, black, and gray, whatever. But I move away from the Rastafarian ideology and thinking. You know what I mean? Because I studied a little bit more, so I know more to know that I don't want to stick with that. Now I stuck with these tattoos on a permanent basis because I ain't get it removed yet. So it's like you making permanent decisions on something that you would have done early on in life, and you live to regret it when you become older. That's an issue. And as far as standards of beauty is concerned, understand that I get teased all day for liking bigger women, in respect to the brothers who like very thin women. But we do have different cultural standards, because I don't, what I call thick, you all call fat. Yeah, y'all teach me about that all day. So, and another thing that was mentioned is that this whole thing, this ominousness, this ulterior motive, it's been my experience, and I can't speak for other brothers. But even when I engage with what these people call alpha females, that the sisters take my program, because I lay it out in a way that where they could see reason to it, where they could see objectivity, and say, I could roll with this. It ain't helter skelter. You know what? Don't worry about it. Just follow the leader. People want to know a reasonable woman would want to know the direction you going in. And if you can't explain to her, or if you can't show to another person in a reasonable way, this is the direction we gonna go in, she gonna dismiss you because you be talking a bunch of shit. And it's not for me to jump on men because I understand there's another side. All I'm saying is one size that does not fit all. What attracts one particular male does not attract one. I am not attracted to the Cardi B's. I already done bet enough for them to know that it ain't about nothing. You know what I mean? It's no substance to that. After you done laid out with them a few times, then what else is there? Is no dialogue, is no mental stimulation. How do we go beyond that? I can't trust. I just have issues with the fact that we just want to limit women down to this this restricted Barbie doll esque image that they should do specific roles and duties. When I know that women exist out there, some of these women are more rational and more well thinking than some men. Even Marcus Garvey pointed that out in his organization. So I don't like this whole idea of relegating women in the box and putting them in a corner because some of them are stronger mentally than some of the men out here, and that's a fact. So I find value in the things she said. I do see the contrast, and when she said, well, they could get breast surgery, I understand the criticism of that. That's a just justifiable to say though. That's a contradiction. What are you talking about? They could get surgeries, but they could be themselves. Come on now. But as far as the general perception of things, all I'm saying is one size does not fit all. And what attracts me to a particular female is different from the other man. And I can be more attracted more so to her mind, her brain. Granted, she should have a degree of beauty to her, granted. You know what I mean? But what is beautiful to me is not necessarily beautiful to the next man. But I am more attracted to her brain because I know that's going to take me further than a dumb, pretty woman. And I dated enough of them before. It's not the fact of my lady and a lovely lady, by the way. But I'll stop there.
Yo, Azuli, you can't type that shit to chat, man. You gotta hit that on the audio, man. Say that shit on air. Say that now.
Well, boy, Azuki's on a symposium.
You think I care about what this Haitian physician got to say to me?
Yo, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I trying to figure out what you was talking about because we didn't say any of that in that just now. We all we were saying is, beauty is what it is. Just be yourself. Work on your character, your intellect. Some people said if you're that obsessed about your physical look and all that, go to the gym, etc., etc. I don't think we threw women in a box or anything just now. So
that's what I'm saying.
No, we did talk about attraction to some degree, and I'm saying that. All I'm saying is one size don't fit all. That's all I say. One size don't fit all.
What? This guy, this guy trying to force us to like what he like. One size don't. What? Yo,
I got to host a symposium with a bunch of simps in the future, but that shit is funny.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll take a surprise. I got it. I'll take it.
With all of that said, let's go to Marcus Garvey is the way. What say you?
Okay, no, I agree with most of what she said because overall she said love yourself. She said black men try to be attracted to the mental over the physical. Now people are speaking about it as if it was an attack on men, which I didn't see, but I guess as a man, they say hit dogs holler. So I don't know where the offense was. However, I do feel that we live in a world where
Was that a subliminal?
Yeah, she thinks she's slick. I'm gonna wait to respond to that. She thinks she's slick.
Anyway, we live in a world where
I'll help you.
We live in a world where social media is such a big thing, and we all do remember that the men were saying, "Oh, they want thicken the thighs and thin in the waist and all this stuff, and it was pushed. That concept of a woman with ass and booty. Like how the women were putting the eggplant emojis, then the men were putting, I don't know what the emoji was, apricot, I don't know, to look like a big ass, big. I don't even think big tits was a big thing, but everybody at one point want big ass, and then they were like, "Oh, the Hispanics have the big ass, the black women have the big ass," and all of a sudden, white women want the big ass. So it was out there that people wanted that big ass, and for the women that didn't have it, obviously the BBL was the option. Now she didn't say that women should have BBL. She said that she can't tell people not to get it, and then she said in Jamaica they said "wanty wanty" means don't getty. Remember? She said that. So she's basically saying, well, she can't tell people whether or not to get it, but it's always the people without ass that want it, and the people that has it don't want it. That's basically what she was saying in the what do you call it? The colloquialism in Jamaica. Anyway, so what I was saying is that the men did push for big asses. The women that didn't have it considered BBLs. Like how men nowadays, I don't know if y'all noticed that men are now injecting stuff into their arms to make it look like they have muscles. So there's an insecurity being fed to males and females, and people are falling for it. Whether you are the one falling for it or not, most people are not going to look at inner qualities first. When I'm sitting down at a bar, ain't nobody looking at my inner qualities, because we're all at the bar, right? You will look at inner qualities when you get to speak to a person and get to follow a person, and get to know a person. But no inner qualities is attracting people. You know what I'm saying? Like
No, but
nobody sits.
let's not be this intellectually dishonest now.
Mhm.
We know that, yeah, at a bar I can't see your intellect or inequalities, but my initial attraction will be along the lines of something physical, sure. But when I speak to you beyond whatever I saw, when I speak to you, that's what I'm going to learn what's inside of you. You understand? And that could be a heavy yay or nay, especially amongst conscious men, right? You could look good and all that, but if you open your mouth and you talking a bunch of shit, then it's a no.
But
You know what I
Coco,
mean?
how many men are conscious? That would be my question to you now.
Well, that's the thing. We are. You see, that's the thing, though. We are in the conscious, quote unquote, conscious community, so to speak, right? And we're trying to get more of our people to be on this same accord, right? So we're not really here talking to and catering to the lowest common denominator, right? We're trying to appeal to something where we're trying to get to, where we're trying to head to, right? So we're not talking to the guys who just out there looking for a big ass and some big titties and a small waist. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to talk to our men, right? To our people, the people who are trying to essentially re-Africanize themselves or create a certain standard, right? That's who we're having this conversation about. So we're not talking about, the guys outside of this.
Yeah, we know that the social media world does influence a large portion of society. But I mean, okay, you're from Bahamas. I'm from Barbados. Barbados is known for women with big booty and hips. Okay, like for most of the Caribbean islands, Bajan women got backside. I don't have any.
I
Yeah,
agree with that. But go
yeah,
ahead.
they're known for having behinds, exactly. And
I don't know
although,
about that. Stop it.
huh?
Oh, please, Urzuli, the woman you was with. Anyway.
y'all
Continue.
about
My bad.
y'all
My
about to fall out early in the show. Y'all got no behavior. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, but reality tells us whether a woman got big titties, small titties, big ass, no ass, she can get a man. There's always going to be someone for them. But the social media world that this new generation is in, they are told the fake hair, the lashes, the nails, and all that stuff, and people are falling for it. Like how you have a small proportion of people that are conscious, you got a whole lot of unconscious. So you have to speak to the unconscious, and I think that's who she was speaking to. I mean, that's just my opinion.
This is where I say, for me, I'll be honest. We're being what we're doing is we're pretending here. And look, for me, there is no difference between the so-called conscious woman and the unconscious woman. It's the same thing. They are raised in the same system. They have the same ideals. And anyone to me who thinks that a conscious woman will not do you dirty is deceiving themselves. She'll do you just as dirty. Probably sometimes, like I said, you'll find the irony is that some of the women who have less feelings and less emotions. I'll give you guys an example, right? I was in a classroom one time with some women, and these women were not conscious by any means, but there was a situation because I was helping them, I was tutoring them. It was a course, and there was another woman there, just really mean and just retarded. But these women, who one of them, her boyfriend was like a big time gang dude, and these women weren't like no soft chicks, like they were like the hood chicks. But they were protecting me more than any conscious woman has ever. When that lady was disrespectful to me, they were like, "Nah, don't talk about gas like that. Heck no, like no. He always is there for us. He helps us out. Blah blah blah." These women were ready to go to bat for me, and conscious women will not do that. They will sit there and bury their head in the sand like ostriches. I don't know, and so I'm not deceived by that. Oh, the conscious. That's to me hogwash. In reference to women, and yes, there is unfortunately pressures on women in society to look a certain way. But let's keep in mind, like I say all the time, we just talked about how we label it FGM. We don't call it, MGM, male genital mutilation, right? No one calls it MGM unless it's the casino, right? Where you get money. Ironically, we have a problem when women are reduced to sex objects, which is not necessarily good. We shouldn't reduce women to just sex, right? However, no one complains when we reduce men to success or to finance objects. So just the same way there's a pressure on a woman to have a certain body shape, there's the same way there's pressures on men to have a certain wallet size or a certain penis size. But at least women can go and get some Spanx and wear some high heels and some false lashes and get a BBL and change that body size and look the way they want to look. If you're a man and you're broke and your stamina in the bedroom is weak, or you're not up to size, as society says, ain't not much you can do about it.
So,
If your money, hold on, wait, sister, I'm gonna say this last sentence. If your money's if your money's short, either you're a criminal or you got to do 5 extra shifts to get the money longer. If your stamina is weak in the bed, it's but so much Viagra you can take. And if you ain't swinging in the middle, hey, when your wife was with the Puerto Rican yoga instructor with his 15 inches down his ankles, tough luck with that. No one has any sympathy for the things that men have to go through. But when women are the BBLs and the pressures, we understand that's wrong, that's messed up. Have a little goddamn sympathy. Have a heart. Y'all women don't. And it's just like, at this point, I don't have these conversations publicly, but it's just like, yeah. So the fact that even so-called conscious woke women don't even have sympathy, it just lets me know there's no difference. And I'll stop talking.
Just quickly, let me say this to Gas. I've noticed that for a lot of Black folks, certain terms are triggering, right? Like consciousness and stuff like that. So I don't know how to express it without using those terms. But what I'm trying to say is, like Yana B said, people are people. What I'm trying to say is that if we want a certain cultural output, a certain cultural product, there are certain conversations we have to have. There's certain agreements we need to make. And to make those agreements, you have to have the conversations to do that. And so, we have to have the conversations about, in this case, beauty standards, and what I'm trying to say is the point of this topic on this show, on this program, is to get our people thinking about, our people who are aware of our situation in time, right? Get us aware of these things, to have these conversations, to have a certain standard. So as we start to get more people right? That Newtonian that Newtonian idea that you like to point out, that mass, to get more people on board, working towards changing our conditions. This is one of the things we have to think about, right? So that's why I put it in terms of consciousness and conscious types and stuff like that, because we do have to at some point come to some general kind of consensus about these types of things, right?
Oh no, Coco, I agree with you. I was just throwing my subliminal shots back at the women on the panel.
Yeah, no, I feel you, but I just want to put that out there. The second thing I want to put out there before I go back to the panel, Trigger Happy 262. I try to read as many of the comments as I can on a good day. Today is not my best day, so I can't read all the comments, but I try to put them up on the screen, even if I don't read them aloud. So your comments are being seen, as far as I know. Keep posting them. I'll try to read them out. If not, I'll put them up on the screen, right? So just pay attention to the screen. Any other comments from anyone else on the panel here?
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see something that is not being said. Black men did not push no BBL on black women, because you know why? If we push the BBL on you, then we had to pay for it. BBL is not expensive. Stop. You just came to America 2 days ago. Stop. Anyway, we did not push that on. Yes, black
what
men.
What is the BBL? I don't know what a BBL is. What that
Brazilian butt lift. We did not push that on women. That's not us. A lot of black men might like it's not even about having a big butt, it's the ratio of your hip or of your stomach to your body. A slim girl could have a nice figure. Black men like nice figures, supposedly maybe more hip and more butt. But we did not tell black women to go get BBL. That's a lie. Black women wanted to cheat the game, wanted to cheat the girls who had it and beat them to get all the attention away from. Those are cheaters, just like Gas said. Y'all get BBLs, y'all get Spanx, y'all get fake hair. All of that shit is to outmaneuver a black woman who has that naturally. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, we don't like saying, oh, I don't like a woman with a nice figure, like nice girl. I'm not gonna say that, but I would never tell a woman, oh, I need you to go get a BBL. I would never. I would rather tell a woman, if you want that, yo, let's go to the gym, or appreciate for what you got. And at the end of the day, some men like big breasts, some men like women upper body, and some men like the lower body. You could find those different type of men. So for to say that we impose that on you, nah, that's a lie. Yeah. Because if we did that, then that means all these women who are getting BBL, men are paying for that. Black men in America all over the world are not making enough money to say, oh, I'm gonna take 5,000, 10,000 and give it to a girl to go get a BBL. You know who I was listening to? Yeah, I was listening to the creator of this whole social economic system. He's the one that told you to go get it so he could make money off of you, and you went and got it because he's your real daddy.
Azuli hitting with facts. Let's see what the ladies say. Get him, Azuli.
Just has a loud voice. That's all.
That's your real daddy. That's who you listen to, because it's not us. Go find out how much a BBL is in America. Who you think? And the average men probably make $35,000. So you think an average black man is gonna take $5,000 out of his money until he go get a BBL? Again, there's a perfect solution in that. It's women. Y'all was listening to the guy who put that in the atmosphere so he could make money off of y'all.
Now, Azuli, here's the part, Azuli. They complain about that, right? But no one has any sympathy for the men, because where's our opportunity to fix? If a man is broke, if a man doesn't have those things, what can he do? He's screwed. At least women can fix it.
I had a question for you when you were speaking earlier.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of what you just said about men who don't measure up, who feel sorry for them. So my question is, does that explain why men who felt inadequate socially, physically, financially, is that why they decided to put on, a wig and some high heels to because they couldn't compete as men. So did they
I'm
refuse
not
to
I'm
get
not
up?
touching that question. Come on. Like, come
Yo,
on.
come on.
Why are you
That's
doing
apples
that?
and oranges, and
Come
It's
that's
just
on,
a
very
man.
complex.
question.
See,
It's a
see how you want to
question.
attack the black man?
Yeah,
What about
you said, and why is he asking me that? Like I know the answer.
No, because
Apparently,
yo?
you
Let me.
freak first time for something like that. But go ahead.
no.
In the chat, Trigger Happy 262 says something that I like. He says, "Yeah, the BBL is a natural phenomenon, but it's mostly white women who started it. Then Kim Kardashian, and then naturally black women picked it up. It ain't to say black men go for the BBL chicks, but it's definitely not imposed. Yana B has a friend whose man paid for hers, but that's a one case scenario. For the most part, black men ain't paying for no woman to get no BBL.
And the
So
funny thing, Goku, the funny thing, I don't want to get into it, but I feel that whole BBL was invented here to bring out another agenda, to hide people who yo, it's weird. But like the brother just said, we didn't push out the BBLs. We didn't do that. I don't understand how always black men, this black men
It's
that.
really, I don't
Why?
know why you're just stating the complete opposite of facts. Like the whole I like big butts and I cannot lie. That was a black man. The Black Men's
he
Magazine.
didn't say I like BBLs and I cannot lie. He said I like
Thank
big
you,
butts and I
thank
cannot
you,
lie.
thank
Well,
you.
well, BBLs are the way to get big butts. So
No. BBLs, you could go to the gym. That's the way to get a butt. Or
I could go to
let
the
me.
gym all day and I'll never get a butt. Trust me, and I don't want one either.
Well, okay. So why you in this fight?
so they the first lie.
10,
I'm not
10.
in the
So
fight.
10, 10.
You're
Yeah,
the one
that's
that
it.
said if it was so simple to go to the gym and get a butt, then people would never get BBLs because it'll be cheaper, right?
Listen. At the end of the day, I don't know about butts and booties and all that. You guys are some freaky people. But look, 10. If a woman says to a man, uh, when women like what did Trina, one of her songs, she said, if it ain't 10 inches or something, or if it ain't 12 inches, she said some ridiculous number, he ain't gonna do nothing with me. Okay, now imagine if men started walking around saying, you see, it's your fault I went and deformed my body. No woman would be like, oh, you better man up. Who cares? Like they wouldn't have sympathy for men. But you want us to have sympathy for something like Azuli saying we didn't even start. We didn't come up with that process.
Well, firstly, women are not looking for sympathy, they're looking for attention. And when they get the BBLs, they do get attention. So it's not about men paying for the BBLs, it's men paying them attention after they do. And, when the plastic surgery first came out, a lot of women were actually, ashamed and embarrassed to admit that they had work done. And this was actually white women where they started with the Botox. And then afterwards, women came out and said, well, I had it done, I'm not ashamed, and so on. So after they did that, with the BBLs, women were, maybe they wanted it natural, and then some of them went and did it. But the effect of it was that men, flocked to them. Women would have these testimonials to other women saying, well, I felt, ugly before, and then I did it, and suddenly all the men were starting to look at me. That's what women wanted.
But then on an anecdotal level, there has not been an increase in marriage. You get what I'm saying? Like if you look at the increase in BBLs and you compare it to the marriage rates, particularly for black people, you would think that, oh, okay, they're looking for attention, blah, 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 that there would be an equal increase in the rates of marriage. So it just shows you that it's silliness.
Well, the women who are looking for that were not necessarily looking for marriage. They're looking for attention that would maybe lead to marriage. So in that respect,
It
yes.
doesn't. It doesn't lead to marriage.
The issue though is that women who get these procedures done, they will tell you straight up, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you they did it for them. They didn't do it for us.
Women with BBLs did it. Most women are airheads anyway. The women that got the BBLs are airheads, so they weren't going to get married in the first place. So I don't get the point. The mentality of a woman that will go.
Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are married.
What?
Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are married.
Yeah, but I'm saying, yeah, but those
and
are
they have BBL, so that just cancels everything.
That what? That it what?
I say they're airheads, but they're married, but they had BBLs,
but
and they're rich. So just cancel
two airheads
everything.
out of a sea of airheads with plastic behinds floating in the ocean. Come on.
At the end of the day, I don't think y'all should be blaming black men for this. What y'all should be doing is that even if you have a BBL,
Who
that doesn't
blames
mean you're
black
gonna
men?
get married. That's what the lady's doing. The lady's telling black men we have to start liking women for their brains. First of all, there's something that you said. A man
She's
doesn't
a
have to be
Caribbean woman talking to Caribbean people, so yeah, she would
what?
say black men.
Well, here's what.
Okay.
It's
Here's
a
what.
black show. She's on a Nia Binky show. So who else
Here's what. Here's what. Here's what. That was a good, real good conversation, and this is why I'm going to say it again. This is why I wanted to change Shoot the Breeze to the subject format, where we talk about beauty standards as one of the subjects, entrepreneurship as another. The beauty standard subject this week and last week was really good. Let's try to do it again next week. And by the way, thanks to Marcus Garvey is the way for this one. Let's try to continue this because it's a conversation that we have to have. We have to have these conversations, especially for our youth. You know, we want our young girls, our daughters, to come up not thinking about, they're inadequate and they have to get the BBLs and all this kind of stuff. We want our young men not to reward those who take the shortcut of the BBL, for instance, and who will get the work done to them but won't do the work for themselves in terms of their mental and spiritual, etc. So again, it's a good conversation, but we got to move on to Shoot the Breeze topic number 3. All right, I want everyone to keep the same energy as we go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 3. Brother Bakari didn't know what a BBL is. Usually told him it's called a Brazilian butt lift. That's where women who have little ass or to no ass go and get the fat removed or whatever from different parts of their bodies, like their stomach, and they have it placed in their buttocks area, and so they get a better ass off of it. Shoot the Breeze